Well, that was an interesting development this afternoon, Manchester United fans, wasn't it? All of a sudden, a new target has popped up onto the scene for Manchester United in the striker department, and his name is Ollie Watkins. Yes, Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins to Manchester United. Talks have been held between Aston Villa and Manchester United. We're going to go through everything that Ollie Whitwell said in his article that broke this news earlier on today. That's got every United fan talking. Would this work? Can Manchester United sign another proven player from the Premier League up front and have a dynamic trio of Mbeumo, Cunha and Ollie Watkins up front? Give me your thoughts and give me your comments in the comment section while we're live, everybody. And of course, if you're watching later on and catch up, please do let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. There is other news to get through as well. We'll get through everything that's going down with Manchester United this afternoon as well. But there's only one place to start, and that's Manchester United potentially going for Mr. Ollie Watkins from Aston Villa. Now, this popped up after this lunchtime. Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic is dropping a big article on Manchester United's contacts with Aston Villa. Now, this all came about, Laurie Whitwell is saying, from Manchester United's conversations around Marcus Rashford. So, Marcus Rashford obviously was coming to the end of his loan deal. You would have seen earlier on today, unless you've been living under a rock, that Aston Villa have officially sent Marcus Rashford back. They did not trigger the 40 million buyout clause from the loan deal that he has just finished. Of course, like we spoke this morning, June 30th, July 1st tomorrow is when all of these loans and all of these contracts start to expire or move on to the next year. So Rashford's been sent back, Malacia has been sent back. But in these talks with Aston Villa, Manchester United, in hope that Villa would trigger that 40 million for Marcus Rashford, dropped the name in there of Ollie Watkins as a potential target for Manchester United to take this summer. Now, it is genuine, it is real. Manchester United would take Ollie Watkins. It would be a breakaway from the younger type of player that Ineos have been looking at in previous windows for Manchester United. The January one just gone, and obviously last summer, this is their third official one now. And it's always been around, and I've talked about this a lot, it's always been in and around the younger type of player. And Manchester United have never really gone above that 26, 27 mark with significant money. Ollie Watkins would demand serious money from Manchester United, he would demand serious money. Villa would demand it from Manchester United to take their talisman away. Obviously, 3 seasons in a row now, like Laurie has been saying in this article about Ollie Watkins hitting double figures in the Premier League. Last season again, he was only behind the big hitters like Mbeumo, like Salah, like Hojlund, players like this. Another very good season for him, even though he was pushed out a little bit by Rashford towards the back end of the season for Aston Villa under Unai Emery. So that, again, very interesting to see the development there. Is he not wanted at Aston Villa? Laurie also goes on here to say in the article about the PSR situation with Aston Villa, and they're looking at players that could fetch them a fair price or a decent price so they could balance their own books. And we've spoken about this before regarding the Emi Martinez situation. This is why Emi Martinez has been linked to Manchester United, because Aston Villa are running the tightrope when it comes to the PSR situation and everything that's going on. So, that's being said, what would Aston Villa charge Manchester United? He didn't go into that in detail in this article, Laurie Whitwell. It was more about what Manchester United wanted to do with Marcus Rashford and him being a make weight and such, like Rashford going one way, Ollie Watkins going the other way. Now, Manchester United would still like to buy Ollie Watkins if the opportunity came about, but don't expect this one to move fast, is the words on this one. I think we've all accepted that there isn't going to be anything moving fast with the striker side of things, because it is determined, and obviously Laurie Whitwell covers himself here by saying Manchester United's main priorities at this present time is getting Bryan Mbeumo sorted and in and selling players. And that's where Rasmus Hojlund comes into the situation here, and why Rasmus Hojlund has been spoken about in the same breath, because apparently Manchester United see Ollie Watkins as a replacement if Rasmus Hojlund departs Manchester United. Now, that again, for me, it sends alarm bells ringing, because I don't see Rasmus Hojlund leaving Manchester United. I don't see him going this summer. I've said this many a times. Inter Milan can show all the interest that they want, but they haven't shown enough for Manchester United to even bite at any sort of offer verbally that's being discussed at the moment between the Italians and Manchester United. So that one again, it is a worry that, yes, Watkins is a great striker. I would love to take him at the football club. I think he could be the difference in getting Manchester United Champions League. That's how good a setup that is, in my own opinion. I'll gauge where you're all at with this in a moment, actually, as well. And we do have a poll running right now. Get involved in that. Would you be happy with that front three? And Mbeumo, Watkins and Cunha. 31% of you are actually saying no at the moment. That is crazy. Get voting on that to make it your way and make your vote win. But yeah, there's still a bit of undecisiveness within the Man United fan base. I'm going to guess why, but I'll give you my thoughts on it in a moment. First of all, on Rasmus Hojlund, though, in this same article, Laurie Whitwell goes on to talking about where Manchester United are at with this sale. Inter Milan are interested, like we've just said, and we've spoken about it plenty over the last few shows, indeed, over the last month, to be honest, with Rasmus Hojlund. But Inter Milan's interest is loan-based, and they're not going near Manchester United's valuation. But Laurie did drop something very, very interesting into the conversation here. That was, in asking questions, found out that there are people at Manchester United that would be willing to let Rasmus Hojlund go on the cheap. So cheaper than their market value price at the moment, which is around about 40 to 45 million for Rasmus Hojlund. So Rasmus going on the cheap just to bring in some finances for Manchester United, just to bring some money in to the club, Laurie Whitwell says. It would be better than a loan, is his words, basically. Not what we want. It would be seen as a PSR loss, but it would bring some cash into Manchester United in their hour of need. And in a desperation, in a hunt for a striker, they would be willing to let Rasmus Hojlund go cheaper to bring in Ollie Watkins. Now that, I think, is significant in all of this, and it's probably the first time that we've ever got any sort of inkling as to Manchester United taking a cut price offer for any players. It literally was the title of my video this morning. Take the offer. Cut price offers coming in for these players. Look, it's just in a situation that we're in right now with Manchester United. You cannot really be picky with the offers that are coming in. Nobody wants the players. You've got somebody there who Inter Milan are clearly interested in. Can you make an offer? Can you bring a price down that's going to generate an offer, even if it is cheaper, just to bring some money in? That's what you've got to look at, I think, in this now. Can Manchester United make something work for them where they would get enough money to maybe go out and get another striker? Could we balance some PSR figures to try and get Ollie Watkins through the door? That's the question. That's what I think everybody is wondering at Manchester United. And what they would do is, like we said this morning, put it all together in a package in terms of selling Rasmus Hojlund, possibly moving on Antony, Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, Malacia. How much do you get out of all of that? Like on the baseline of cut price offers and deals, whether it be loans, taking off the wages, getting loan fees, blah, blah, blah. Like we said earlier on today. Rasmus, I didn't really have in on the equation this morning, but if indeed Manchester United are looking at Ollie Watkins coming in, if Rasmus Hojlund leaves, then straight away the alarm bells are ringing for me. Rasmus Hojlund should be there and Ollie Watkins should come in still. We cannot be looking, because that for me, and how I see that, is them accepting that Rasmus Hojlund is a striker at Manchester United and number one. We should be looking to move Rasmus Hojlund aside and still be in Manchester United and another striker come in for me. I still think that Manchester United should be bidding for Ollie Watkins or another striker, even if Rasmus stays. So if United are looking at Ollie Watkins for when Rasmus Hojlund leaves, where does that leave us with another striker coming in this summer? How does that leave the situation with Manchester United in general when we're looking for a forward? We're supposedly looking for someone straight away, so why is it different for Ollie Watkins? Why does Rasmus Hojlund have to leave for Manchester United to bring Ollie Watkins into the club? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense, because we are apparently going straight out after Mbeumo to try and find a deal for Ollie Watkins. Try and find a deal for a striker. And this, unfortunately, for Manchester United right now, is a tough position to be in because of everything that's going on with the problems in selling players, like we already know. Everything that's happening at Manchester United at this present time doesn't look good in terms of raising money for players. But we were all thinking that Manchester United were just trying to raise money with other sales, not Rasmus Hojlund, to bring a striker in. Laurie Whitwell's writing here in The Athletic is that Man United need to sell Rasmus Hojlund to get another striker in. That wasn't the case before, though. We were apparently going to bring someone else in to play alongside him. So why is it different all of a sudden for Ollie Watkins is the question I would automatically ask from reading this story anyway. But that, I think, is... it's good news and bad news in one article in a way. The fact that Manchester United are playing sensible here. Now, look, when we're looking at Ollie Watkins, let's just forget about everything else at the moment, because there is a debate on at the moment where only 72% of you are actually happy with a front three of Ollie Watkins, Brian Mbeumo and Matthias Cunha. And I look at that and I cannot understand how anybody wouldn't be happy with that. That is, I think, that makes a difference from getting Champions League or not. That's how big. And the one key thing in all of this here is, and one thing you can take from this as a 100% guarantee, is Manchester United are prioritising Premier League proven players. They're not messing around with anybody else in the world at the moment unless they can definitely say that there is no one in the Premier League that they can get. We have looked at, obviously, Liam Delap already. ENQUIRIES, I think, is there as the only option outside of the Premier League at the moment because Ruben knows him. Everything else, what we're talking about, Mateta, he has been an option for Manchester United. Some people have thrown Calvert-Lewin into the equation as well. And now Manchester United potentially looking to get Ollie Watkins. That, I think, is really... when we look at it, when we look at everything that's actually happening, I feel Manchester United are just out and out right. And it's encouraging in a way when I look at it, because I'm thinking they are fully prioritising climbing that Premier League table. They've given up on the chances. They've given up on players that they are not sure can hack it in the Premier League. They want Prem-proven quality because all we've got to compete in next season is domestic football. And for next season, this works for me. Obviously, it depends on the price. But say, for instance, Manchester United brought in Watkins. Yes, he's 29, turning 30. That is why I think everybody's turning their heads at this. But if Ollie Watkins gets you up that table, or contributes to getting you up that table, which would bring you, what, 30, 40 million pound more in prize money, and gets you near the Champions League or European football, then the transfer fee is paid. These are the gambles and these are the risks that you have to take. And everybody's sitting back here wondering why Manchester United are not moving. This is thinking outside of the box for me. This obviously isn't the best deal on the planet in terms of future-proofing Manchester United. And a lot of people would say, I don't like this deal simply because he's turning 30, he's too old, I want someone younger. Look, the strikers that are on the table at the moment for Manchester United to pick from are a bit of a problem because none of them are fully experienced in the Premier League. None of them are, let's say, cheap. We'll call that, yeah? None of them are cheap. You're going to have to spend the premium whatever striker you bring in. Now, Ruben Amorim is going to be gone at the end of this season if he doesn't get the results. So you can see why Ruben, I feel, is going for someone who is ready-made, who's in the peak of his powers and his career. You would basically be bringing in 3 players in that front line that are all playing to the best of their abilities and are all at the top of their game with bags of goals and experience in the Premier League. That could be absolutely massive for Manchester United's season. If United make the Champions League from bringing Ollie Watkins in, no one will worry about Ollie Watkins as a transfer, will they? No one will be complaining. It's a job well done. We've got through this season. Manchester United are moving forward. Now we can start planning with Champions League money into next summer. And maybe we actually do then bring in another striker then on top of Ollie Watkins as well. This, I think, is where Manchester United's thinking must be at with this one. Because if we have looked at Watkins, and Laurie Whitwell has said, and this is a genuine story, he has wrote this out knowing that Manchester United have been in touch with Aston Villa over Marcus Rashford and asked Watkins in the same conversation, or asked about Watkins in the same conversation about coming to Manchester United. So we know this is a genuine target for United. So this is the first time we've officially seen Manchester United think outside of the Ineos younger player box. I didn't expect everybody to be jumping on the hate train for this one. And look, the opinions are completely valid. You worry about his age and the longevity and everything else that's involved in Ollie Watkins. But if you got 2 or 3 years out of Ollie Watkins, look at Harry Kane. He's still going. Like, same thing, scoring goals. When you've got a goal-scoring Premier League player, I'm not saying because his English is even better. Just Premier League proven is the way to go at the moment. I like the idea of the younger players coming. Don't get me wrong. I'd rather be buying players. But in this moment, if there was one club that had to go out and get a guarantee for next season to try and keep their head above, let's not forget, Man United need to be back in Europe after next season. Otherwise, things start going south quickly for this football club. Should we not, as a fan base, be looking at this as a positive, as to say we are actually dealing with the now? Because all anyone has done to me is bitch and moan and shut me down about these younger players and the future of Manchester United and what's happening. And now we're bringing in somebody who's going to hit the ground running next season again, or potentially. It's not the right player to bring in. It isn't. Look, at the end of the day, you're going to get, what, maybe 2 more years out of a Mateta. Look, whichever way Manchester United do decide to go with the strike-off, it's quite clear to me now. It's going to be someone they know has got some, or at least a bit of experience when it comes to Manchester United, when it comes to the Premier League, sorry. I think this is where we're actually at right now. I think what we're looking at is, in reality, is Manchester United kind of desperately looking at the situation as well. I think there is an element of that. There is a bit of desperation in here, because I don't think Ollie Watkins would have been the actual top choice for Manchester United. I don't think that would have been the case. I think what we're looking at here is Manchester United obviously losing out on several targets and several players throughout the window at different stages, like we've said before, and we've all been there and gone through them all. What we can say here is that Manchester United are acting on it, though, at least, aren't we? We're actually acting on what is happening right now and where Manchester United are at. So, honestly, I feel like we're in a position where we just need to, let's just say, back Ruben Amorim with a player that we know can actually get us through. Into Europe at least next season. I think that's where Manchester United are actually at right now, and I think that's what the thinking is. Honestly, I do believe that we could possibly see Ollie Watkins at Manchester United. I think there is a chance that we could actually. I feel like we could actually make European football, possibly even Champions League, if United actually got Watkins in through the door, as long as Mbeumo does come through as well. And like Laurie Whitwell said there, he said that Manchester United are actually trying to get Brian Mbeumo done and then get players out. That's where the interesting bit is in this one for Manchester United. Again, it's Laurie Whitwell is breaking this story in a way that it is kind of positive for Manchester United fans to get a hold of, but at the same time covering himself by saying, hold your horses a little bit. This is going to drag out until the end of the window. So it's a case for Man United fans here, I think, just to look at it as a different option for the club, different option for us to talk about, a different dynamic altogether. Don't forget, obviously, Watkins and Brian Mbeumo have worked together before as well at Brentford, both coming from Brentford. It's a good sign. It's a good player for me. It is, and I can understand why United are going for it. Is he my top target? No, he's not. He's not my top target. So let's get into the comment section on this and let's see where everyone is actually at. Would you take Ollie Watkins at Manchester United? Been a while, mate. Have a pint on me. Also, I've been saying for years to get to Watkins, but never had solid interest. I'd grab this rumour with both hands, says Acid23. Thanks for the super chat, mate. We signed Sheringham in the 90s at 31, says Zeb. Mr Dacia Sandero, a 2-year deal with an option for Watkins. That's what I'll do. We have to do this, or Mateta. Let's see, Christopher Hooper says, Watkins not that good. Rashford took his place when he went to Villa for a while until Rashford showed his colours again. This was Emery's style of football. I think, don't forget, obviously, Watkins was there before Emery walked through the door. So that's what you've got to look at as well. This wasn't an Emery signing. He's wanted that type of Rashford player for his system. Maybe Watkins suits what Ruben Amorim wants a little bit better as well. I think this is a reality of Manchester United's current predicament in this window, is where I'm at. And I put a tweet out earlier on and I said, the big line that worries me in this actual deal is Laurie Whitwell saying it's all dependent on Rasmus Hojlund leaving. For so many ways that worries me. One, Rasmus probably isn't going to leave this summer. And two, are we really having to sell Rasmus Hojlund now as well to bring a striker in? Why is it different for Ollie Watkins than what it was with Victor ENQUIRIES or another striker? And why is the story all of a sudden changed? Has Laurie Whitwell opened up another can of worms there for everyone to start discussing and debating? I don't get it. I don't get why Rasmus Hojlund has to leave for Ollie Watkins to come in. I thought we were selling these players to try and bring in a striker. But now all of a sudden Watkins comes in if Rasmus leaves. You see where I'm going with that? That is a bit of a red flag for me. It really is. Let's see what we've got. Graham with another super chat says United's plans for a genuine number 9 appear to be fluid. If we're looking to let Hojlund go, does it mean the 10s that will be used as backup 9s? Again, it's just opened up a different conversation. They just didn't expect Laurie Whitwell to be coming out saying that Rasmus Hojlund could be let go cheap by Manchester United just to bring some cash in. It's making it sound more and more desperate the more you read into it, really, isn't it? Just sell him. Cut price so we can get some cash in the bank so we can go out and buy someone else. Take a loss. Like I've said it. I just didn't expect it to be on Rasmus Hojlund taking a loss. I thought maybe you could handle a bit of Rashford, a bit of Garnacho, a bit of Jadon Sancho, a bit of Antony, who have been here longer than Rasmus Hojlund. Yes, albeit one more year longer for Antony, but he actually is carrying value at the moment, so you're not too bad with him. But Rasmus Hojlund, 2 years, nobody wants him. A shocking season last season for him. Why would we have... Yeah, I know, I'm not going to get into it anymore. Let's get some more comments in on this one. Watkins is 10 times better than what Hojlund did this season. Yes, the price matters, but he literally scored 16 Prem goals. He'd be able to replicate that, no problem, says Jimmy. Swap Rashford for Watkins. We can't do that with Shell because Aston Villa have officially sent Marcus Rashford back, so a new deal would have to be struck. But Marcus Rashford made it clear to Aston Villa, and this is what's come out from this news today about Villa letting Rashford go back, that it was made very clear by the player that he wanted Barcelona and not Aston Villa. So Aston Villa forgot about Marcus Rashford and moved forward. That's why we got that official news today. There is no deal for Rashford and Watkins. This was what the original conversation was about, Laurie Whitwell said, regarding Marcus Rashford going one way on that permanent deal that United have put on there on the table, and Ollie Watkins going the other. It's an interesting one. It is. And it just sounds like this was being talked about a while ago, actually. If we're talking about Marcus Rashford leaving, then this conversation must have happened a bit of time ago. It's really difficult to see how Hojlund can improve with his lack of skills, says David. Jacob says if we can get rid of Rashford, that would save around 15 million in wages as well. More, in fact. It just depends, really, doesn't it? I can see a world where we don't get a 9 and use Mbumo in the middle and play Ahmad and Cunha either side. I mentioned that last night, actually. I did mention that just to test where people were actually at with that potential. I mean, actually, Laurie Whitwell has said that is actually something that could happen for Manchester United next season if they don't get their targets. Also, on top of that, Laurie Whitwell has also backed up what I was talking about earlier on. And he said Nkunku has been discussed by Manchester United, but he is secondary. He is a secondary thought right now, Christopher Nkunku, for Manchester United. There is conversations and there is a possibility. That's all we'll say. But everybody's covering themselves at the moment by saying this isn't a top target. So United must have, and I said this in the lunchtime show when we was talking about Adam Wharton being a potential option for United if we sold the players. Maybe this is why Watkins is now potentially a player for Manchester United. Because we're having to move Rasmus Hojlund on. Maybe the money that we are saving from selling or loaning the players that we spoke about earlier is going to bring us a midfielder and not a striker. Maybe we want to sell a striker to bring a striker in. To be honest, we need Rasmus or a replacement for Rasmus and another striker, in my opinion. just to add a little bit of depth to that area of the pitch. Okay, I understand that Mbeumo and Cunha can step in there, and this is probably within the thinking of Manchester United. But what do United actually expect to pay for Ollie Watkins? That's another conversation again. What would you pay for Ollie Watkins? There's another question that needs answering right now. Watkins is all we need at a striker after a few years of Obi. Will be ready. You could say that. A couple of years, 3 years of Ollie Watkins, and up steps Obi Martin, Chido Obi. You never know. Cal in the chat also says, I think we're more likely to get no striker at this point. We're just linked to literally everyone. I think we might end up playing false nine or Mbeumo up front. I don't want to think that way. I don't want to, but I get why people would. I really do. And I get what Cal's saying now. He's not the first person to say it, by the way. I've brought it up myself. I think that Manchester United are actually thinking about this. If they're not going to jump the gun and get anyone in. The more I think about Watkins, and remember what I said last night? And I said, you convince yourself that this is a good deal. And then you think about it, and you end up convincing yourself even more that this is actually a good deal for Manchester United. Whichever way we go with the striker, like we've said many a times, Manchester United needs to make sure he's going to score goals. He has to contribute, or the knives that are already sharpened will be in. But 100% they're in. We cannot have another season where it's just Rasmus Hojlund. We cannot allow that to happen. Manchester United can't. There has to be someone coming in. I'm not fully on board with the rotating 10s coming in at 9 and doing a job there. It's not their natural job, and you all know my opinion on that. I see why people would think it, like I just said, but ideally I want someone who's going to know that role and know exactly what he's doing. Rob with the super chat says, nice top, Admiral Free Stripe and Sammy Mack, good times. Yes, link for this will be in the live chat, is also in the description, everybody. I get my shirts from the website that's on that link, so I've just hooked it up in there for everybody to grab their own. If you like what I'm wearing, get on that link. It's there, it's cheap. It's delivered quite quickly as well. It's a brilliant shirt. It's a great fit. It's one of my favourites again at the moment. So yeah, if you want the 75 to 80 away white shirt that I've got on, I got it from that website with that link. Some of the mods will drop it into the chat in just a moment as well for you, but it is in the description, everybody. If you are catching up later on, check out the description for all of the links to shirts like this and all of our other partners on as well. There it is in the chat there. I will just pin it up for you there from Stu. Thank you very much, mate. There you go, everyone. Let's just check this poll out right now. Well over 1,000 in on it. Would you be happy with the front three of Mbeumo, Watkins and Matheus Cunha? 73% of you, it's going up. 73% of you would say yes, you would be happy with that. That there, I'm telling you right now, and you're going to go, Adam's going crazy again. Some people would say I'm getting giddy again. But that there is a potential Champions League finishing position for Manchester United with that type of front three. Why? Because all we've got to play next season is Premier League. Everyone else challenging for it has got the European Cup situations going on, and it's a lot more difficult. Look what happened to Forest last season. Manchester United would have 3 Premier League proven goal scorers. There is 50 plus goals in that front three from last season alone in Cunha, Mbeumo and Watkins. I can see why United are looking at it. Just to drill this home again to everybody though, what we're saying right now is that Manchester United are definitely looking for that ready-made, Prem-proven player. They're not messing around with anything else or any, I'm not going to call it a liability, not messing around with the unproven factor. That's been made abundantly clear, hasn't it, with this potential move for Ollie Watkins. It's going to be interesting to see. What about Watkins on loan, Adam? Villa can't afford it, Andy, mate. It's not going to happen. So any hope of taking him on loan, be a good move for United, but not for Villa. Villa are only going to sell if they can get decent value, which is going to help them avoid PSR. Whitwell has said that in this article, and that has been a big part of it. If you haven't already, please give the video a like. Let's get that over the 500 live mark again. We are doing amazing on these live shows. We're hitting that mark near enough every single show. So if you haven't already, please hit the like button, everybody. If you're enjoying the content, it's completely free and helps the channel out no end. If you haven't already also, please hit that subscribe button, everyone. It is getting ever and ever closer to that 90k mark, which we was going to get or aim for before the season starts, and then we're on to the 100k. Be part of the journey. It helps the channel out so much if you do hit that subscribe button. You would not understand, honestly, but it's brilliant. Everyone who has done it already, thank you so much. You are absolute legends. And this is our channel, this is our show, everybody. That's why I'm getting so many of your comments in here right now. Has anybody put in the chat how much they would spend on Ollie Watkins? I'm just scrolling at the moment. No one's significant, not enough significantly, to be honest. Let's see. Hello, Block in the chat as well. Hope you're doing well. With that front three, we are not potential Champions League. Adam, please stop overhyping and raising expectations. We are currently 15th. I'm sorry, mate. That's 50 plus goals there. Premier League proven players. There's a reason we're in 15th. It's because all of the front three needed changing. And you're changing all of the front three. The defence isn't that bad at Manchester United. Trust me. We just didn't score enough goals. Now you're adding goals. You're adding ready-made players. So I'm not overhyping it at all. I'd expect Man United to challenge for top 4 with a front three like that. I'm sorry. We need to be challenging for it. If we're challenging for it, then we'll probably finish in the Europa League positions. But that's the minimum for next season. I don't think people are grasping where United need to be next season. What's the point in Ruben Amorim if he's not making European football next season? He has to make European football or he's getting the sack. So they're buying players that are going to get them there with no European football to play and only domestic football to prepare for. He's given all the time on the training ground. He's been given the players that he needs, hopefully. Let's see. And he's going to be expected to provide next season. There's no excuses anymore. There's no time. There's no grace period. Ruben needs to hit the ground running, and he needs European football. Otherwise, it's another one bites the dust, and we're looking for another manager. So, no, I'm not overhyping it. This is what needs to happen next season, and that will be Man United's target. I guarantee it will. United paid $3.5 million for Teddy, and Villa are going to want a lot more for Watkins. Why are we bringing Teddy Sheringham in from, seriously, late 90s? We brought Sheringham in. Yeah, of course we're going to be paying a lot more. Probably around 20-30 million for him. No. 50 to 60 million Watkins, I think he's going to be. 20 million, no more for a new addition to United's retirement home. It's not going to happen then. Stu says 20 million max is for a 29-year-old, 40 mil tops. I'm telling you right now, Villa will want 50 to 60 million. It's going to surprise a lot of people, that, but I guarantee you, when United come to town, United get slapped. It's inevitable. We're having to negotiate the Bryan Mbeumo deal down to the minus detail just to try and salvage a little bit of value out of it. The only reason we got Cunha is because there was a release clause slapped in his contract for him to stay last January at Wolves. That's the only reason we got that deal done the way we did. Brentford haven't got a release clause for Bryan Mbeumo. United are having to go above and beyond to try and get the deal that they want for Mbeumo, because every club is going to see Man United coming and they're going to take advantage of us. Everyone is. Look, we're down in the depths. Someone just said then we're 15th. Who the hell is going to try and help Man United out? Not one club in this league, particularly so-called rivals, which Villa probably will be for the Europa/Champions League places next season. Hopefully, for God's sake, United, please, we have to be back in Europe next season. Andrew has just dropped in 5 new memberships. Thank you very much, Andrew. If you have received one of them, everybody, please do make sure you thank Andrew in the chat. Red Devil United says 50 to 60 million. Laugh out loud, waste of money. Adam is a giddy goat. That's a bit harsh. You can call me giddy if you want, but not a goat. I'm not that good. Come on. Let's see. Christopher. Villa can't afford a loan and United can't afford to buy, so no point. Oh, Christopher's just downed it. He's finished it. It's not happening. Christopher's binned off this transfer or any chance of it happening. Sorry, everyone. I'm only joking, mate. I get what you're saying, though. There is a lot of truth in that. In terms of Victor Gyökeres, by the way, he has set some demands to Sporting. Just an update on this situation, because if Ollie Watkins is going to make a United move, he's going to be late in the window. No one's going to buy Ollie Watkins, I don't think. There's only United really positioned to buy him because of his age, because of the price that Villa are going to want. And Manchester United needs somebody who can help us get back into the Champions League. So Watkins does fit the bill in that for Manchester United for next season. He at least gets us Europa League football, which is a minimum for United next season. So I don't think anybody's going to be rushing to get him. So United have got time. Can we get some sales done to get there? It's the same with Gyökeres, though, isn't it? Following the Sporting President Varanda's recent comments on Victor Gyökeres, the Portuguese outlet Record have claimed that the striker is furious with the situation. The newspaper has claimed that Gyökeres and Varandas exchanged messages in which Gyökeres set out 3 ideas to the Sporting President, including the President leaves him no other alternative but to come forward to clarify the controversy surrounding his departure with his respective points of view on what is at stake. Gyökeres has also told Varandas he will not travel to Lisbon on the 6th of July or after for training, and that he is tired of Sporting President speaking to the media, intending to divert the focus from the solution. Stalemate. Absolute stalemate and pure drama. Gyökeres, Watkins not going anywhere until right down into the depths of this transfer window. I can guarantee it. Will United be in the reckoning? Will Manchester United be in and amongst it? I don't know. But at least it's given us time to get our other business done. Now, I spoke earlier on about Adam Wharton being a target for Manchester United. In fact, Rob Dawson was saying earlier on, and this was in the midday video and in more detail, go watch that afterwards if you want all the detail on this. United would actually go for an Edison or an Adam Wharton this month if they sold players and got enough money. So if we'd have sold Garnacho, we got rid of Sancho, we got rid of Rashford, United can actually go out and buy a quality midfielder. Adam Wharton would not demand high wages, and Ineos would be all over that deal if they knew they had enough money to go out and get him. And that would be Manchester United really making a statement in the transfer window. But that story was there earlier on, and I think that has still got some legs to run. Maybe into next summer, I think, is my realistic look on that. But again, I've made the question. With what's happening with Watkins, with what's happening with Gyökeres, the drama of the striker situation that he's developing right now at Manchester United, I look at it and I go, maybe we are just going to be looking at the situation with the midfielders rather than the strikers. Maybe it will be the rotating in Mbeumo and Cunha, and we go out and spend what money we've got and what we've managed to get together from selling players on a midfielder. A lot of people would agree with that in the chat as well. Napoli make a new Victor Osimhen decision amid Manchester United transfer links as well. Don't read into it much. Laurie Whitwell was talking about Osimhen's wages being ridiculous, and the structure of it was nowhere near what Manchester United were willing to sanction. So that was going to be a complete no-goer again. So if you do see Victor Osimhen stories anywhere, they're being played down completely by The Athletic at the moment. Let's see. But I did say this earlier on, but Marcin Bulka, the goalkeeper at Lille, cannot move to Manchester United. You remember me bringing this up. This is another story that's come about this afternoon. We can't, because there's a ban on Manchester United taking Nice players to Manchester United and vice versa. We cannot do it until September 1st, which is deadline day. So United would have about 5 hours or something to actually make a deal happen for Bulka if we wanted to take him. That won't be anything that is happening. Let's just bring through the rest of the news as well. Corriere dello Sport, again, are still pushing the Moise Kean situation. Reports that Kean is one of the favourite strikers on Manchester United's list of targets this window. They are, however, yet to make a concrete offer. The reports say that the striker has a £43.7 million release clause in his contract, and that runs out on the 15th of July. I don't think United will buy Moise Kean, not ahead of the likes of Watkins or Gyökeres if we could get either one of them players. Did you hear the sporting director talking on Sky earlier on about the situation with Brian Mbumo. Phil Giles is the sporting director at Brentford. He's in no panic. He knows what's out in the public domain. Talking about Mbumo saying that he has made his preferences clear. They're obviously Manchester United. He didn't need to go into detail. He didn't say that, but he didn't need to actually go into detail for everyone to know. But he has said the deal is there to be made if the price is right. At the moment, we're not there. And Brian Mbumo is happy to stay at Manchester United. So the media would run that and say that Brian Mbumo is happy to stay. He's happy to stay at Brentford, not Manchester United. He would be happy to stay down there in London. So that's what the story will be running. If you see anything on headline-wise, Brian Mbumo wants to stay at Brentford, then it's because of this interview with Giles, the sporting director from Brentford, earlier on today with Sky. Nothing in it at all. He's just saying what any person in his position would say, to be honest, and that is it. That's all you're going to get from Brentford. They're not going to give anything away at all on this until they know something more concrete. So yeah, that's where we're at. So let's get some more comments in on this. Man, I love United, but I don't see any improvements this window. We are continuing continuing down the downward trajectory. TK's not a happy chap here. We need a good signing to bring you up again, mate, don't we? We do. Watkins for 40 million will be perfect. I'd take Watkins for 40 million. Adam, are there any other realistic striker links other than INQUIRIES and Watkins, not counting Osimhen or Ekitike? I did just mention Moise Kean. That name keeps on coming up, by the way. Nearly every single Italian report is bringing that up constantly now. So, yeah, Moise Kean is actually a realistic target for Manchester United. That is a genuine thing. Just quickly, for everyone who is just joining the show, a few of you are actually just popping in now. We're talking about the Ollie Watkins story from The Athletic's Laurie Whitwell earlier on this afternoon, talking about Manchester United communicating and actually talking directly to Aston Villa for the potential transfer of Ollie Watkins to Manchester United. He is a realistic target for United. Yes, he's older, but he's prem proven, he's got goals. The original communication was around Rashford, and Rashford going one way and Watkins coming the other. Whether or not United revisit this later on in the window, we will have to wait and see. But Laurie Whitwell has said that Manchester United moving for Watkins could actually be dependent on Rasmus Hojlund leaving the football club. Yes, I know, and I am concerned about that as well. Why do we need to sell Rasmus to bring Watkins in? We're supposed to be buying a striker alongside him. So, yeah, maybe United's tactics have changed, which is why I pushed the midfielder video earlier on today, why United might actually spend what money they save or get on a new midfielder. Maybe we're going to see Brian Mbumo and Matheus Cunha rotating in that number 9 alongside the number 10 position this season. We'll see. Let's get some more comments in. Mr. Dacia Sandero says, Watkins for 40 million for 2 years. That gives us the time to develop Rasmus for our another number 9 and Chido. We have to go for him, swap him with one of the misfits, Rashford or Sancho. Sancho wants to go to Italy. Maybe Garnacho goes one way. And Man United bring in the striker for Garnacho. Maybe we just work it that way. I don't know. It might be something that Emery likes. He likes that wider player coming in, doesn't he? So maybe that is. I don't know. I'm guessing, completely guessing at that point regarding Garnacho possibly moving out to Aston Villa. I've said this before, and Laurie Whitwell did actually say on this, and this was a concerning one for me. I always, like everyone says that I'm overly positive with everything that's going on. I still find a lot of positives in what is happening at United, yes. But this is something that concerns me, what Laurie Whitwell said in this same article, and it is that Chelsea are in touch with Manchester United over Garnacho. And obviously there has been communication regarding Christopher Nkunku. I said before, Manchester United's view on Nkunku is that he is a second option. He is not first choice for Manchester United, which you would expect. But it was the Garnacho bit. In talks over Garnacho still. They've just bought Gittins. They've just bought, obviously, João Pedro. And they've got Delap. They've got 3 forwards in already. I don't see them going out spending money, and that's the problem. They know that Garnacho is on really, really cheap wages. I would not put it past Chelsea lowballing United again and trying to take Garnacho on loan by the end of this window. Just keep an eye on that, because Garnacho is just going to look. Who do you think he's in contact with constantly all the time? We've seen the post that he did last week. It's Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. Like, these players that he knows are taking Manchester United to the cleaners. Are where he is going right now. That's the road that he is going down, sadly for him. And he could easily just stroll off to Chelsea, play in the Premier League. Chelsea can more than afford his wages, take them off United's books, because he's only on 50 grand a week. Maybe they do say to him, look, we'll look at an option to buy you the following season again. They won't. They'll just take a player away from Manchester United for hardly anything. Maybe they'll give us a fee. I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing because Garnacho might play well at Chelsea. I don't know. But I have a scenario in my head where it's developing now into Chelsea shafting Man United again in the transfer window for another one of our players. And I can't get it out of my head. I'm thinking, look, they did us with Mason Mount. They've done us with Jadon Sancho. They're trying to give us Christopher Nkunku and taking Garnacho the other way. Honestly, this is where it gets a bit annoying as a United fan for me more than anything. Like, along with all of the positives, this is where I am more concerned about anything. Janice S, welcome to the members club. Thank you, Mad Red Free. Brilliant. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Almost at that 500 live like mark, everybody. Keep them piling in, everyone. We need to get to that 500 mark. You know you can do it. It helps the channel out. Likes are free. So too is subscribing to the channel. Cheers, everybody. Anthony says there won't be a swap deal involving Garnacho and Watkins because United want 100% of the PSR transfer fee. Yep, look, we could actually just say to him, look, balance our books. Because at the end of the day, look, we're going to sell Garnacho. It looks like we might use that money to buy Watkins. So sell him to Villa at the right price. Balance your books. You're still going to go out and buy Ollie Watkins or another striker. So it's really broad as long, isn't it? Whichever way you look at it. Swap deals are not necessarily just one player for another. There can be two different transactions in there as well. So there could be different ways and a bit of creativity involved in this transfer as well for Manchester United. So let's just see how that develops, and maybe, just maybe, something is in the offing. But no, I would like Anthony just said there then. I would say that Garnacho is not going to go to Aston Villa. I fear the move to Chelsea more than anything. My train is full of yapping Italian birds. Great to look at, but noisy as hell, even with AirPods on full noise cancelling mode. Help. Sorry, mate. It's a bit of a confusing show for everybody at the moment, Block, and we can't help you there, buddy. But yeah, turn the volume up as loud as you can, mate. That's all I'll say. Adam, I'm afraid Watkins will be priced at 70 to 80 million, and probably United know this, and hence they need to sell Rashford beforehand. Thoughts? Yeah, I could see that. I could see that scenario. I said 50 to 60 million, I think they'll last for. Realistically, for a man he's 29, going into his 30s now next season. He has got a big contract as well. He's contracted until 2028, Ollie Watkins, so that is something that we do have to take into consideration. Villa, again, unfortunately for us, hold all the cards when it comes to it. Look, don't forget, everybody, our match day sponsors, Match Bingo, are doing a special. The Euro starts. This is one of your last chances this week to actually get on board with Match Bingo, everybody, our sponsors here on Forever United TV. So to get involved, all you have to do is get onto the QR code on the bottom corner of your screen right there, Match Bingo, or click on the link in the description. We will put it up in the live chat in a moment. All you have to do is download the app and then deposit £5, and then Match Bingo will give you another £10 on top of that to play the game. It is only £2 a game. All you do is get your cards. They are already preset and given to you, and you play bingo through the game. That is it. Anything can happen, from a throw-in to a corner, to a goal being scored in a certain minute. Any match event, as you can see on the screen there, if you get 5 in a row, you win 25 quid. Straight out. It's only £2 a game. Another one, another 25 quid. If you get the jackpot, upwards of 200 to 300 quid per game. Every single Club World Cup game covered. All of the Women's Euros, which kick-starts on Wednesday. Get involved in that. Get behind the Lionesses. Get behind Forever United TV as well. Download Match Bingo. It's a fantastic app, and it does add that little bit more excitement to the game. You are missing out, I promise you. It is a fantastic game. Loads of us here on Forever United TV have actually won loads of money. And next month, if you want to be prepared, we are getting into the friendlies on Manchester United's pre-season with this game as well. And there will be a few specials coming. So get involved with Match Bingo, everybody. Thanks to them again for being our sponsors here on Forever United TV. Please do download the app. Gamble aware. You have to be 18 and above and a UK resident to play. Just so you know, everybody. Sorry if you're from outside of the UK. You cannot enjoy the fun. It is different, to say the least. It is very, very different. Almost at that 500 live like mark, everybody. I've just dropped Match Bingo's link right into the live chat as well, everyone. So if you can click on that link as well, that'll take you straight through. Get involved. Loads of games on there as well. There's historical games on there you can play as well. And some spot games as well. They have got the darts going as well. So yeah, if you love the darts, get onto Match Bingo. I know. Bingo darts. Adam, don't you know what's really happening? Sell to buy because there's no money. Yeah, I think we're all quite aware of that. Or that is a story that has been said. Could there be something behind the scenes with it? We don't know. Possibly. Also, everybody, if you are on Big Up, our other platform, we are going to be taking this show across there right after we finish on the show here on Forever United TV. Big Up is our other platform where we do more content. There are more things we can do on there, like bringing in callers. So if you want to have your say and speak to me direct about this, I've had a lot of people having a go at me. Maybe come on and have a say and have a chat. Call me up. We're having a call-in show and talking about everything that is going on at Manchester United on that show right after we finish here on Forever United TV on YouTube. The link for Big Up is the top link in the description on this video, everybody. So drop down there if you want to carry on talking. Get onto that and let me know your thoughts over there, please, everybody. And we will continue and talk about all of these transfers going forward. So yeah, please do come over and have your say. But that pretty much rounds us up here on this evening's show, everyone. We're about to hit the 500 like mark. Please hit the subscribe button as well on your way out. You won't miss out on anything going on with Manchester United at all. I've got you covered, everybody. Thanks again, mods, anyone who contributed to the show as well tonight. Really appreciate your efforts. We will see you all here on YouTube tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning for all of your updates. And we are flying across the Big Up in just a moment's time, everybody. Link is there in the description. Top one, everyone. Thank you. I will see you